when breathing, when doing Ujjayi breathing, we want the movement, first movement actually would be we feel the sternum go in, just a slight movement inwards. That's because we're expanding sideways out, in the front and then gets big in the back. So I've just explained Kapalabhati. And as I said, the reason is because then you start to learn where the lower dantian is and how to control it. And which is very important for the breathing technique we have in Ashtanga, which is Ujjayi breathing. So I've explained this before, but I'll do it again. So Ujjayi breathing is this control which we got from the Kapalabhati. And then we relax and breathe in. As I mentioned, this control from the lower dantian is what controls the throat, creates that slight constriction in the throat in which we now produce a sound. And in fact, we're trying to produce a sound from the heart. We want to feel the heart, or even a way of looking at it would be middle dantian. So this would be the process of doing Ujjayi breathing, which I've explained before. What we need to now do is control it, make it as long as possible. So in pranayama, we're making the breath to different degrees. There's many techniques, but generally the breathing we're doing is Ujjayi breathing, and which I mentioned also can be done anytime, walking, exercising, all the time. You can just learn to do Ujjayi breathing, which means we just don't let the belly go out. We want to keep this control. And as I said, not squeezing, just control. Remember also that we need to be able to sit correctly. So we want to be aware of the sitting process. We don't want to sit like this forward, because this will change. We won't be able to work from here. It means we work from here. So it becomes more a different pranayama. Now it's agnasara, as I mentioned before, working from the navel. Much more forceful breath. Creates a lot of heat in the body, but it's not what we want to do in Ashtanga. Otherwise, if we do this breathing in Ashtanga, we overheat. Quite often you see people sweating a lot. This is probably one of the reasons why. But it also, when we breathe from here, makes it difficult to balance the breath. Generally, it makes it more difficult to inhale for the same length as we exhale. It would be so if you find that you're breathing in and your inhalation is more difficult than your exhalation, this could be the reason why. It could be because you're just sitting too far, the ribs sticking too much forward, so you change the muscle action. Again, you need to be able to have the tailbone descending, the ribs slightly in, so the back of the body is what opens. So when breathing, when doing Ujjayi breathing, we want the movement, first movement actually would be we feel the sternum go in, just a slight movement inwards. That's because we're expanding sideways out, filling up the back of the body, which is actually the place where the lungs are the biggest. The balloon, which the lungs are, is just a balloon. The balloon is bigger in the back than the front. It's very thin in the front and then gets big in the back. So be aware of that. So the sitting is very, very important. The next thing to do is be able to control it. So in pranayamas, there's many variations on this method. At the beginning, just find that you can breathe in evenly, that you can inhale for the same length. So that was about a 5 count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that would be a 1-to-1 ratio. But you can do inhale for 5, exhale for 10. So this is another variation. Some people do inhale 5, exhale 20. So we're creating different ratios of breathing. And they're all good, whatever you feel comfortable with. But in this process, just first learn to breathe the same length of time. And what you do is that you inhale for as long as you can, counting. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. So you're counting as you're breathing in. And you count the same way on the exhalation and balance for 2 breaths. So you want to make them both even. And if you find that one is longer than the other, whichever one it is, first try adjusting your body. Try positioning. And as I said, generally what happens is that the ribs are forward, your inhalation will be more difficult. So learn to bring the ribs slightly in. And I'll show you a method later of how to adjust that. So, so that's important when we get this. So that we're breathing in. So that would be the action we're trying to create. The length of your breath is up to you. What I suggest is that you make it as long as possible, both on the inhalation and exhalation. Balance. And again, in long as possible means comfortable. As long as you can breathe in comfortable. You don't want to be breathing in go. You want to be so that you can relax between. Just be relaxed. Let the breath be comfortable. And then you can do many rounds. So generally, I would start the pranayama or this Ujjayi breathing in a pranayama session of doing 12 rounds. So 12 rounds of inhale and exhale, each length of the breath the same. And so this will be the first process of starting a pranayama practice.